everybody. Well, thank you all for being here in person at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center with that crazy weather that I know you all drove through. I too drove through some crazy weather getting down here. And just this morning, since I've been awake, it sleeted, it hailed, it snowed, it rained, and it thundered and lightning. In just the time since I woke up this morning. And there was 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground on this, what day is it again? Oh, it's May 11th. 12th. It's May 12th.
Mother's Day.
Gotta love springtime in the Rockies. Gotta love springtime in the Rockies. Greg and I were driving away and we're like floating down the snow, you know. And I said, well, Greg, you know, at least our life isn't boring. He said, that's right. Our life has never been boring. I know you guys are a witness to that. All right. So where we're at today, and by the way, for you guys watching on Facebook or YouTube, we start at 11:15 now so that we can have the first 15 minutes here in person at the Miracle Center to do music and meditation. And I wish I could play the songs that I'm playing for you, for the folks who are here in person. I wish I could play them for you, but you know, my video would get a strike on it. So if you want to experience the music and the meditation that we do before class, come on down. All right, so where we're at is in chapter 15, section 4. It's called Practicing the Holy Instant. And everybody okay with books? Okay. Let's see here. All right. Come on. All right. All right, there we go. Okay, I can now see y'all's comments. So, all right, we're going to practice the holy instant today. We'll learn about, and this practice is really at the core of the curriculum of A Course in Miracles. You could also call A Course in Miracles a practice. You know, you hear about in other philosophical systems, they have a practice of this, a practice of meditation, a practice of such and such. This is the practice that A Course in Miracles is one of the main practices in this curriculum. So it's going to teach you how to access, how to tune into the holy instant, how to tune into it so that you can experience the magnitude, your magnitude that dawns on your mind when you practice the holy instant. So it's pretty amazing. What happens in the holy instant practice is incredible. Your magnitude dawns on your mind and replaces all your belief in your littleness, your powerlessness, your helplessness, your littleness. Okay? It replaces all that. All of your sense of littleness is replaced by your magnitude dawning on your mind. And not only that, it's like the Ginsu of miracles. Also says in the holy instant, you experience perfect communication. Your mind is open to send and receive, like a communication device. Your mind is open to send and receive communication from all minds that you are connected to and the source of all minds. Dang, does that sound good or what? Yeah. And it's free. Like that. And there's no side effects. Like whatever you were taking this morning. Welcome, come on in. Hello, make yourself comfortable. All right. And now she needs a book. Would you let her
Sure.
grab her one? Okay, no, spirit. She's just a big baby. Come on in.
Doesn't understand sitting on the side. Yeah. What are you doing sitting on the side? Get in the line.
Yeah.
Get in the group. Spirit.
Hi, Bridget. Lovely to see you. Hi, Irene. Lovely to see you guys. All right, and I'll tell you guys again, we are going to be in chapter 15, section 4. The section is called Practicing the Holy Instant. Hi, guys. Hi. Don't mind her. She's just a
She
baby.
likes you, really.
Yeah, she likes you. Yeah. And what's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda. Nice to meet you. How'd you find your way here today? How did you find your way here today?
I resumed my studies by myself, and today I got stuck in the lesson. I was like, oh, maybe I can Google some help.
Amazing. I'm so glad you came. Well, welcome. I'm Anna.
Nice to meet you.
And we are in, you got the section. Okay, beautiful. All right. Okay, so I was just talking about what this practice called Practicing the Holy Instant. It's one of the major practices that the curriculum of A Course in Miracles gives us to access the state of mind where your own magnitude dawns upon your mind. And that moment where you're like, I am so much bigger than I thought. I have so much more than I realized. Oh my God, I have so much more power than I realized. It's a moment when your own magnitude dawns on your mind. It never dawned on your mind before that you had magnitude. All that we have been obsessing on and thinking about and seeing is our littleness. What A Course in Miracles calls our littleness. Like, you know, who, me, just me, what can I do? What power do I have? You know, I feel powerless most of the time in my experience. I experience my magnitude. I experience my littleness, my powerlessness, my helplessness, etc. And so this is a practice by which you're not trying to get greatness from without. That's our plan for happiness. I'm going to go get me some greatness. And if I can't find some greatness, I'm going to find someone who thinks I'm great. I'm going to enlist them to tell me how great I am all the time. And when they don't, I'm going to give them some guilt. But I'm going to call it love. That was our plan for greatness, for magnitude, right? And this section talks about God's plan for you to experience your magnitude. God's got a plan where you go, whoa, I had no idea how amazing and powerful I really am. God has a plan for that cannot fail if you use it. It's totally available for you. It was made for you for that purpose. It cannot fail if you use it. Right. And so that's the thing. It's like, are you going to use and accept God's plan for you to experience your magnitude? Or are you going to keep trying to experience that greatness your way, the way you learned in the past to get greatness? Okay? Because you can't do both. You cannot do both at the same time. You're either going to go for happiness and greatness your way, like you used to do in the past, which never led to you feeling great about yourself. It made you feel crappy about yourself. Or you can accept God's plan for you to experience your greatness, your magnitude, which is something you don't have to do anything for except accept it. So, but you can't have both. You can't do both at the same time. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. How to accept God's plan for my magnitude and not mine. I mean, I've already done my plan, so been there, done that. You know, let's do something different. All right, so it's called Practicing the Holy Instant. Wonderful. And so it says this. This course in miracles is not beyond immediate learning unless you believe that what God wills takes time. Okay, so anybody here read A Course in Miracles before? Does it immediately seem like you could immediately get it?
No.
Anybody?
No. Four
Are you
times.
sure are you saying that when you opened A Course in Miracles, you didn't think, I can totally immediately get this? Anybody? You're like, that's hilarious. But this says that this course is not beyond immediate what? Learning. Like you could literally open the book and go, I get it. It's so simple, it's so easy, so obvious, oh my God. Okay, it says, you can immediately learn it unless you believe that what God wants for you takes time. So it's not that this Course in Miracles seems complicated and too difficult. It's that I believe that what God wants from me must take time. Spirit, please help with you. So you could learn this course immediately if you didn't believe that what God wants for you, what love wants for you, takes time. That's why we have trouble with the course, because the course is saying, you could have the real world right now. You could have happiness right now. You could have total abundance right now. But we don't believe that, do we? Anyone? Does anyone here believe that they deserve total abundance and happiness right now? Not one more change, not one more thing, not one more person needs to change, not one more thing needs to happen. Right now, this moment. Heaven.
I would say there's a lot of resistance.
Okay. I don't even hear the words you're saying. So, go on to the next question.
What is spirit doing?
I can't hear you. I know you're speaking English, but I cannot learn immediately what you're saying. I cannot understand immediately what you're saying because I don't agree with it. I don't want that. I think I do. And if you believe that what love wants for you takes time, that only means that you would rather delay the recognition that God's will, that love's will is so. If you think that what love wants for you takes time, it's only because you want to delay it. You don't want it right now. If you think you can't experience happiness and fulfillment and abundance and health and joy in the real world right now, it's because you would rather delay it. I want to wait till I am richer. I want to wait till I am skinnier. I want to wait till you know who changes. You know who, right? I want to wait till my script gets fulfilled that I got, for everybody in my life. How many friends you got? That's how many scripts you've made for your happiness. That's how many plans you've made for your happiness. All right. So yeah, I don't think that I deserve it right now. I don't think I want it right now. And so I think, well, to get enlightenment, to get happiness, it takes time. You know what I'm saying? It takes time. You got to clear out all your karma. You got to make sure everybody in your life changes the way you want them to change. It takes time. You know what I'm saying? For enlightenment, you got to meditate a lot. Got to meditate a lot. And you got to get up to the top of a mountain and find a cave. That, it's got a nice enough soft floor. Happiness takes time. Everybody knows that. Which really means I don't want it right now because I don't feel like I deserve it right now. That's what you're really saying. That's what we're saying. When we say, I can't immediately learn this course, or that God's will for my happiness needs to take time. But it says this also. It says the holy instant is this instant and every instant. The instant you want it to be, the holy instant is. The holy instant you wouldn't have is lost to you. You back there, you must decide when the holy instant is. It's up to you. You must decide when the holy instant is. So when's it going to be?
Right now.
Oh, all right. All right, you heard it.
She's
You heard it
here
first
right
there.
The holy instant is alive.
Give that girl a prize. The holy instant that we're going to be talking about, it is this instant and every instant. The instant you want it to be, it's yours. The instant you don't want it is lost to you. It says, in other words, you must decide when the holy instant is. And then it tells you something right after that. Don't delay it. Don't delay it. Okay? There's an instruction. It's any instant that you want it to be, and you must decide, hey, how about don't delay it? How about now? How about now? Okay? How about now? And our teacher is saying don't delay it, because beyond the past and the future, where you will not find the holy instant, the holy instant stands in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. Okay, where's all that good stuff? Where's that portal to the real world? Where's that instant where I experience all the happiness God wants from me now? Where is it? Well, it is beyond the past, and it's also beyond the future. Oh, good. Well, at least now I know where it is. Mm-hmm. Guess what? It's where I am right now. Who knew? Now you do. So you're not going to find that happiness, that joy, that fulfillment. You're not going to find God's plan for your happiness that cannot fail, that you have right now, anywhere but right now. Right here, right now. You will never find happiness and fulfillment anywhere besides right now. Wow. Now, where are all of our plans for happiness?
In the future.
In the future. In the future.
Later.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And if I think I can't have that future happiness plan, I'm going to blame it on what happened in the past. I'm going to say, you know who ruined me.
Wow.
And that other person, you know who in the past, they also ruined me. They all ruined me.
It's never your responsibility.
I mean, if you had met them, you would agree. They ruined her.
Maybe.
Julie's like, maybe.
I might not like them.
And if anybody knows them all, Julie does. So don't talk to her later. Okay. Right. So all it says, because don't delay it, because beyond the past and the future, where you will not find the holy instant, it stands in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. So it's just waiting there for you. It's just waiting for you, and it's not waiting for you like this. It's waiting for you in shimmering readiness. Wouldn't you like to have something waiting for you in shimmering readiness? I'm waiting for you in shimmering readiness, baby. That is how it is waiting for you. It's like waiting for you, not like angry, like why is she so late, why is she taking so long? But in shimmering readiness, the holy instant is waiting for your acceptance. Don't got to do anything for it except accept it. You don't have to do anything for it. You don't have to change for it. Don't have to get anybody else to change for it. Don't have to wait to have it. It's just waiting for you to accept it, the holy instant. Then there's some good stuff that is just waiting in shimmering readiness for us. And it's telling us we could have it right now.
And I just wanted to point out that it's completely parallel to what we heard in the song at the beginning of class today about the real world being here right now.
Yes, right.
It's what we choose, what we want
Exactly.
to see
That's right.
and experience.
Exactly. It's all dependent on our choice of what we want to experience. Like we're talking about, the real world is all around us. You know, the real world isn't some place that you go to if you are well behaved enough. Right? Yes, well, history is never made by people who are well behaved enough. And that's not how you get to the real world either. It's the real world is something that you accept whenever you want it. Wow. And it's always here, ready to give itself to you ready in shimmering, what? In shimmering readiness for you to say, okay, how about now? Beautiful. He says, but you cannot bring the holy instant into glad awareness while you don't want it. Why? Because the holy instant holds the whole release from littleness. So all that we were just talking about, the experience of the real world, God's plan for your happiness and fulfillment and abundance that cannot fail, it says that you can't bring it into your awareness, your glad awareness, while you don't want it. So it's not going to force itself on you. You know, it's not like the ego that will force itself on you whether you want it or not. It is something that has to wait for your wanting it. Okay, think about that. My happiness will not force itself on me. I guess I was waiting for my happiness to be like, I'm your happiness, right? But you look over there for happiness. I'm your happiness. Just think that your happiness, you don't think of it as something that you have to say, yes, I want it. You know, we're like, oh, I gotta do this for happiness, or I gotta do this, 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 and I'm behind, and I'm late, and I'm getting older. You know, we don't think of happiness as something that's just waiting for you to accept it, because it's not gonna force itself on you. I think happiness is something I have to make and go get and change a bunch of stuff for. Now, I gotta make my own happiness, you know. You gotta make your own happiness. How many times have we heard that? You gotta make your own happiness. It's like, no, what you've made for happiness really has got you depressed and sick and broke. That was your version of happiness. What your version of happiness was has led to you going, I'm so depressed. I'm so upset. Okay. So, all right, but real happiness is something that is already given to us forever, for free, that we have to accept. That's where real happiness comes from. That's where God's plan for your happiness comes from. Wow. Boy, is that going to save me a lot of time and effort and money. Think of all the time and effort and money you spend to make yourself happy. As soon as I get that new car, I'm going to be happy. As soon as I get that new relationship, I'm going to be happy.
For about 10 minutes.
Thank you. For about 10 minutes.
Last.
Exactly. It doesn't last. Exactly. It's something that requires time. You know, you got to take time to get it, find it, make it, you know. If anything requires time or effort, then it ain't your real happiness. Whew. Mercy. I know. All right. So, and when you do accept the holy instant, what do you experience? You experience an entire release from littleness. Well, in that instant, you don't feel little or powerless or helpless anymore. In that moment, your magnitude dawns upon your mind. And you're like, dang, I am so much bigger. I am so much more powerful. I am so much more loving and lovable than I ever dreamed. And so your practice, paragraph 2, your practice must therefore rest upon your willingness to let all littleness go. Okay? So that's the beginning part of the practice. My goal here is to let go of all my littleness, all the I can't and who me and poor me and what about me and, you know, I would if I could. All my littleness, all the reasons why I can't. All the reasons why I can't be happy right now. That's all my littleness. And so in the practice, you have to focus on letting all that littleness go. That's the goal. I'm going to sit here and practice letting all my littleness go. And you don't have to worry, because the moment that you quiet your mind, all your littleness is going to come into your mind. The moment you're like, I'm going to try to meditate for 5 minutes. And then all your little thoughts are going to take over your mind. Okay, those are all your littleness thoughts. So that's what we're practicing. Letting all, what does it say? Letting all littleness go. The instant in which magnitude dawns upon you is but as far away as your desire for it. How far away is it?
As far away as your little desire.
Thank you. I almost forgot. That's how far away it was. The instant in which your magnitude dawns upon you is but as far away as your desire for it. As long as you don't desire your magnitude to dawn on your mind, which means as long as you're going to cherish your littleness instead, who, me? Little me? By so much is your magnitude far from you. By so much is the holy instant and your magnitude far from you. You know, there are times when I really don't want to hear about my magnitude. I am working on a grievance, honey. And I mean, I'm sure you know, don't bother me, magnitude. I got this juicy, juicy grievance. Don't bother me. You know what happens if you try to take a bone away from somebody who's working on that bone. It's like when you try to take a grievance away from somebody who hasn't gotten the last bit of bone marrow out of that grievance. Okay, so as much as you want to cherish your littleness, by that far is the moment when your magnitude dawns upon you. So I can either know how amazing and brilliant and beautiful and powerful I am, or I can have this grievance. It's a really tough choice, I know. Some days it's really tough. Some days I'm just like, I don't care about my magnitude. I don't care how good it will feel. I don't care how great it would feel. I got to be right on this one. I got to get somebody to change with the guilt that I'm giving them. But I can't do both. I can't do both. Yes?
So I think what we were talking about last week was how this correlates to us, that piece of us that still wants to be punished.
Exactly. That's
So I'm going to
exactly
have
right.
a grievance because it's really just a grievance against myself.
Thank you. Thank
And so
you.
I'm just going to sit here and punish myself, so I'm going to avoid all the goodness and amazingness
That's exactly
in the
right.
world. Thank you for putting that together.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I'm chewing on that grievance, saying no to my magnitude dawning on my mind, not because this grievance is so true. I've got to work on this grievance. It's because I don't believe I deserve to experience my own magnitude. I don't believe I deserve that. You know why? Because I haven't done this, and I haven't done that, and I haven't gotten this, and I haven't gotten that, and I haven't done this yet, and I haven't got that yet, and I haven't got them yet. That's why. That's why I don't think I deserve to experience my magnitude. Isn't that crazy?
And everything you just said are the barriers that I've erected to my awareness of love's presence.
Thank you. These are all of the barriers that I have erected to the awareness of love's presence in me, which is the same as experiencing my own magnitude. You know, it's just a synonym for experiencing total fulfillment, total awareness that you are a creation of God. That means you are pretty freaking amazing beyond your wildest dreams. That's how incredible you are. Powerful, beautiful, loving, creative, genius, brilliant. That's how you are. You know, why? Because we're a creation of God, an unlimited mind, an unlimited love. We're created by that. And we're like, I'm so pitiful. You know, we just have no idea. You know, we cherish our littleness. Who, me, little old me? When we could be just like, okay, if you say I have magnitude and I'm amazing, then okay, I accept that, you know, instead of just accepting it. Yes.
Yeah, and when I'm so into the grievance, then I can't let anything else in.
Exactly.
Because I'm there, and there are no miracles that come through.
No.
I can't see things differently.
That's right.
I'm seeing this. I'm not
That's it.
seeing that. I'm not
Can't-
seeing the truth.
Exactly. You can't see both at the same time.
And I can't see you, and
No.
I can't see the connection, and I can't see the truth.
Right. You're blind.
I'm like, yeah.
That's why the Course of
And-
Miracles literally says, it talks about our grievances as shields, you know, that keep out the sun and keep us blind. You literally, when you're holding a grievance and gnawing on that grievance, you literally are literally blind. You're blind to yourself, you're blind to others, you're blind to God, you're blind to humanity, the universe, everything. You cannot see goodness, miracles, your magnitude, your power, your beauty, and the grievance at the same time. I don't care how valid you say that grievance is. It doesn't matter if all the world would agree with you that your grievance is valid. I'm sure it is. But you can't experience your magnitude and your power and your beauty and your abundance and your genius while you are looking at while you are cherishing your littleness in this grievance. Damn it. I really want some path that's going to be like, can I get enlightened and be loved by God and hold a grievance? Show me that spiritual path. That's the one I want. Like A Course in Miracles tells me I can experience my magnitude and, you know, if I want to have grievances. All right. I know. So,
Oh man.
I know. That's why this room is not filled to overflowing. I wouldn't like A Course in Miracles either if I was the ego. Even my ego don't like it. All right. So it says, do you really think that you can find happiness in your own way and have happiness? Yes, I do. That's my problem. Well, how's that working out for us?
Miserable.
All right, thank you. Okay, you know, what's been the result of us seeking our happiness so far in our own way? Here we are in the Course of Miracles class going, save me, Course of Miracles. Save me from my own plans for happiness. Another woman wounded by her own plan for happiness. Film at 11. It's a great question. It wants us to think not that you can find happiness in your own way and have it. Why? Because if you could find it and have it in your own way, everybody would be blissed out right now. This would be heaven on earth. Because everybody here has been pursuing happiness in their own way. And if you could find happiness by pursuing it in your own way, then this would be heaven on earth, right? Okay. It says, so, once you've put these two things together, it gives you an instruction. How about you give over every plan you have made for your happiness in exchange for God's plan for your happiness? Ah, I see where he's getting at. Your plan for happiness didn't work, or else you'd be blissed out right now. You'd be the happiest, most abundant, most generous, most creative person in the room, if it had. And but what you can do is exchange your plans for happiness for God's plan for your happiness. God's plan for your happiness will content you. And nothing else but God's plan for your happiness can bring you peace. Why is that? Why only God's plan bring you peace? That doesn't sound fair. That sounds like specialness. How come only God's plan for my happiness will work and content me and make me happy?
That's what it is.
What do you say?
That's an
We were just saying
interesting
that's an
comment.
interesting
Yeah.
concept.
Why is that?
Why Why is his the
Big-
only thing that'll
Yeah, why is only God's plan the only plan that can make me happy? Come on, after all I've done to try to make my happiness, do you know how much money and time I have spent trying to make myself happy?
And then be
Come
disappointed in the
on,
result.
exactly. And what am I full of? Grievances,
Still.
Disappointments.
disappointment, righteous indignation. How dare you not fulfill my spirit for happiness? I thought you loved me.
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with you? The reason why only God's plan can continue and no other plan can bring you peace is because peace comes from God. Sorry to say that. Peace comes from God. And no one and no thing beside God. Wow. Darn it, that it was not in my plan for happiness. That was not in my plan for peace. No, God was nowhere in there. God was nowhere in there. Was God anywhere in your plans for happiness and peace? No. Okay. What's your plan for peace? I'm going to find out what my Creator God thinks of me. I'm going to see what its plan for my happiness is since it created me. No, it's like, I'm going to get that new job, I'm going to change this, I'm going to get in a relationship, I'm going to get this, I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. It's everything besides, I wonder what God's plan for my happiness is, and how do I accept that? Wow.
And that's all you have to say. Right?
That's it.
That's just a little
That's right.
piece.
That peace does not come from something you get or do or wish or make or find or look for. Peace comes from God. And we're like, damn it. But, maybe that's why I never found peace. Right? At least I'm hearing something that I know I haven't tried yet. So I have hope. Because I know I haven't tried that yet. So maybe it'll work. I know, but for sure everything I've tried for peace did not work. Because here I am still looking, still waiting, still longing, still trying to figure it out. Still trying to get happiness, still trying to make happiness, still trying to figure out what I gotta go get and make to do to have happiness and peace. And then wondering, why am I still so depressed? Why am I still so unhappy? Oh, I know, because I didn't have the right job. Oh, I know, I didn't have the right person. Oh, I know, it's because I need to lose weight. Oh, I know, it's because I need to change my diet. No, you didn't go to the right place where peace comes from. Yes.
So it is that God's peace and happiness is always there.
Yes.
And so everything that I try to do to find it outside of that, I'm actually blocking it
That's
at
right.
the same time. So I'm blocking the awareness of love's presence. I'm blocking God's will for happiness. And I'm not getting happiness because I can't get it and block it. at the same time.
Exactly. You can't go try to get it and experience it. It's only something that you accept
You
or
have to be
don't.
willing to
Yes,
accept it.
exactly. I mean, just the concept of hearing, I had not heard before, of Course in Miracles, that my Creator has already built in happiness. My Creator already has made a plan for my happiness that I can experience right now. It's eternal, that cannot fail. That's already there, because that's the way my Creator wanted it to be. That's how my Creator created it to be. My Creator created me as happy, but since I didn't want that, because I wanted to be special, I wanted to get something for myself, my Creator said, okay, fine, I'll give you a plan that will help you to understand and to accept that I've already given you happiness and peace. I made you that way. I made you happy. I made you peace. You're made out of peace and happiness. But since you're saying, I don't want that because you want something else, here's a plan, here's a book, a curriculum that will tell you, it will remind you of that, so that in a holy instant you can go, I'd like to experience the happiness and peace that rumor has it that I already have within me.
And then the people that you work with in your relationships or friends or whatever, they might fulfill it for a while, and you think, oh wow, this is kind of working.
Yeah.
But they don't fulfill it continually.
Exactly. Exactly.
And they let you down, and you think, what? You know, what can I do? Why did they? I thought we had it all figured out.
Exactly.
Together.
I thought I had my plan all figured out. You were going to make me happy.
You did for a while.
And you did for a while.
You got off track.
But then you
said something. And
exactly. But then you
because you're
know,
trusting in
right.
human. I mean, you're trusting.
That's
in
right.
Trusting in the
And that's how you know.
Trusting in what, Matt?
That's how.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's how you know that all grievances were your projection of peace in outside of yourself.
What I think.
Because if you weren't projecting the peace and happiness onto something or someone outside of you, then you would never feel betrayed, abandoned, disappointed, upset. Because you weren't seeking peace and happiness and love somewhere it don't come from. It only comes from God. By the way, God is not hoarding it for God's himself. God who gave it all to you in your creation. God's not like, I've got all your peace and happiness, and if you want it, you got to act right. You know, God is not hoarding that peace and happiness. God's already given it all to us, created us as complete happiness and complete peace.
And one other thing, you always think, well, if I could go away and sit in a cave or be like those gurus, I always used to look up to the gurus or whatever they're called, gurus, and the people that could do it by themselves and practice silence forever. But they aren't intermingling with their other fellow beings, and it doesn't always work.
That's true.
That's
That's true. Our version of enlightenment was somebody being completely alone in a cold, dark cave. That was our version of enlightenment. We're like, I don't know. I believe it. I definitely can't do enlightenment.
Well, we have to be with our. He says you have to be with your brothers. You can't be by
It's
yourself.
like a fur-lined cave in some sort of heat. Okay. All right, let's keep moving on. All right. So then it says, be humble before God and yet great in God. Okay. So here's a way to be humble and great at the same time. We're all looking for that, right? I want to be great but also humble. Here's the way to be both at the same time. It's this. Value no plan of your ego before the plan of God for your happiness. If you want to be great and also humble, then value no plan of your egos for your happiness above God's plan for your happiness. Okay, and how do you know when you're valuing your plan for happiness before God's? How do you know?
It doesn't work.
Because you are upset. You are disappointed and you got a grievance and you're frustrated. I must have been valuing my plan for happiness over God's. Because if I had been valuing God's plan for my happiness, guess what? I'd be happy. So it's like how to get out of denial about what you're really valuing. Your ego's plan for happiness or God's plan for your happiness. That'll get you out of denial real quick. It says, it says, value no plan of your ego before God's plan for your happiness. Why? Because you leave empty your place in God's plan, which you must fill if you would join with me by your decision to join in any plan but God's. So if you're going to join in any plan but God's for your happiness, then you are going to leave empty your place in God's plan. Now, that's not something you really want to do. You don't want to leave your place empty in God's plan for the happiness of mankind. It's like God's got this plan for the happiness of the world, but you're like, no thanks, I'm busy. I've got some grievances to tend to. I know the world world needs saving. Lord knows the world needs saving, but I'm not going to take my part in it because I'm busy. Okay? So he says, when you go with some other plan but God's for your happiness, you are leaving your part in God's plan for the healing of humanity empty. And believe me, you're not going to feel good about yourself if that's what you're choosing. It says, so then our teacher, the voice of the Course says, I call you to fulfill your holy part in the plan that God has given to the world. Why? For the world's release from littleness. You mean I have a part to play in the world's release from littleness? That sounds pretty good. You know, how would you like to have a part in God's plan to release the world from littleness? Doesn't that sound good? How do you think you'd feel about yourself if you were taking your part in God's plan to release the world from littleness? How would you be feeling about yourself? You'd be feeling pretty good. You'd be like, I am taking my part in God's plan for the releasing of the world from pain and suffering. Not bad for a Sunday afternoon. All right. So, but I can't take my part in God's plan for the healing of the world while I'm working on my ego's plan for happiness. Now, then it says, God would have God's host abide in perfect freedom. So you who say, I want God's plan for happiness, makes you God's host. So when you think about that for a second, you know how when you host a party, you host a gathering, you know you're hosting, you're the hostess? Okay. When you say you want God's plan for your happiness, you're saying, I want to host God. Okay. And if you were going to be hosting God this evening, you know, how would you be feeling about yourself? What are you doing tonight? I'm hosting God for the evening. I've got some music, I've got some hors d'oeuvres.
I gotta clean.
That's what I was saying. Host God, hell no. That means I gotta clean all day. So hell, I'm sorry, God. I'm saying, sorry, God, I'm not your gal. I'm not your host.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
Gotta clean the house.
Yeah, right. Maybe next week I'll have a clean house. When? Maybe. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. But this is saying you don't have to clean your house or get hors d'oeuvres to host God. Whenever you say, God, I'm sure you have a plan for my happiness. It's definitely going to work better than the one I came up with. So I would like your plan for my happiness and no one else. And it says that you become the host of God. Now you're hosting God's plan. You're the host for God's plan. And what it says here, I really want you to hear. What God wants for God's hosts and hostesses is perfect freedom. So let that sink in for a moment. Wow. God's like, hey, listen, you're hosting me. That's a big deal. So I would like, in return, I would like to give you perfect freedom. That, not a bad deal for hosting. You know, and God didn't even say you had to clean your house.
Just your mind.
Yeah. So when you are hosting God's plan for happiness by saying you want that and only that instead of your plan, you are hosting God, and all God wants for God's host is perfect freedom. Perfect freedom from limitation, perfect freedom from guilt, perfect freedom from fear, perfect freedom from lack, perfect freedom from pain, perfect freedom from sorrow. Can you believe that's what God wants for us? I was like, well, you really want that for me, guys? Don't you know what I've done, God? I mean, would you still want that for me, God, if you knew what I did in the past, my mistakes? Wow, that really makes me want to host God, because I could really use some perfect freedom. And perfect means complete. That's what perfect means in A Course in Miracles. It means complete. Like, you're experiencing freedom in all areas of your life. Freedom of your mind, freedom of your body, freedom in your relationships, freedom in your world, freedom from fear, freedom from littleness, freedom from lack, freedom from guilt. That's what we all want. That's what we all want. And what we all want is exactly what our Creator has already given to us. Not like wants to give us, has already given to us. And the way that we access it is choosing it in the moment, not putting it off. Not putting it off. Not looking for it somewhere besides in the present moment where we realize we already have it. So that's what the Holy Instant is. It's just a moment where you experience what already is so. All right. And when you accept what you already have in the moment, you don't have to wait for it, you don't have to get it, you don't have to make it. That is the experience of perfect freedom. It's like, I have it all right now. I have it all right now. That's perfect freedom. I have it all right now. I'm not limited in any way. I have everything. I am everything. There's nothing I need to get, to do. I am free. I am free. That's what Holy Instant is. And that's another way of saying your magnitude dawns on your mind. I have it all, I am it all, I have it all, I am free. All right. So, then it says, and we're still in paragraph 3, and it starts with every allegiance to a plan. So, every allegiance to a plan of happiness, apart from God's plan for your happiness, diminishes the value of God's plan for your happiness in your own mind. And yet it is your mind that is the host to God. So, here's a question. Would you like to learn how perfect and immaculate is the holy altar on which God has placed himself in your mind? Would you like to know how perfect and immaculate is your mind, which is the altar on which God has placed himself? Well, you will recognize this in the Holy Instant. What's the Holy Instant? It's the instant in which you willingly and gladly give over every plan but God's for your happiness. That's the Holy Instant. Okay, so this instant right now, I give over all my plans for happiness that I have made, in exchange for God's plan for my happiness. That's what a Holy Instant is. Do a little review of all the plans that you've had for happiness that disappointed you, made you upset, and you say, I give up all my plans for happiness. I don't know what happiness is. And I want God, I want your plan for my happiness right now, in this Holy Instant, right now. That's a Holy Instant. And in that instant, you realize how holy and immaculate your mind is. You realize how powerful your mind is. You recognize how your magnitude will dawn upon you when you give over your plans for happiness in exchange for God's. Because in God's plan for your happiness, that's where your peace is. Perfectly clear, because you have been willing to meet your happiness's conditions. And you can claim the Holy Instant anytime and anywhere you want it. So how do you do it? In your practice, try to give over every plan you have accepted for finding magnitude in littleness. Your magnitude is not in littleness. So use the Holy Instant only to recognize that you alone cannot know where happiness is. You alone cannot know where your magnitude is, and you alone can only deceive yourself. So any plan I'm making by myself, where it's just me, doesn't include God, my plans don't include God. They're like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get me some of this, and then I'm going to do that, and then they're going to do that for me, and then they're going to do that for me. It's all about me, right? Any plan I come up with alone is a plan for my happiness that can only deceive me. So that when I do the plan, it'll make me happy. I realize, oh my God, I deceived myself. That definitely did not make me happy. So the practice is giving up every one of our plans for happiness, which was to find magnitude and littleness. That was our plan. Course in Miracles defines little as anything we come up with. Okay? Just want to give you a little definition of littleness here. Anything you come up with by yourself, alone, anything you come up with by yourself is the definition of littleness. That is so insulting. That is so insulting. Calling my thoughts and my hopes and dreams, my plans little. Sorry. All right. Questions or comments? Monica says, oh my, I'm in trouble. Okay. And then Monica says, how will we know God's plan? Okay. Beautiful.
Good question.
Very good question, Monica. How will you know God's plan? All right. Well, for starters, it won't be something you came up with by yourself. Usually, have you ever noticed when you get this miracle experience, you're like, oh my God, it's so incredible. What's the next thing you usually say? I would have never thought of that. Right? The plan that works, that makes you happy, is the one you didn't come up with. That's for starters. You know, every time you experience happiness, you're like, wow, that's so crazy. I would have never thought of that. You know, all the best things that have ever happened to us, we're like, wow, you know, that wasn't what I was looking for. I wasn't looking in that direction. So that's the first answer to Monica, how will you know God's plan? So for starters, it works, it makes you happy, and the other ones, you didn't come up with it. And it'll be a big surprise to you.
So just a clarification, when the Course talks about doing it by myself, it's referring to me choosing the ego as my advisor.
Yes.
It doesn't mean, which can also mean me collaborating with another ego mind to come up with some silly plan that's going to have a terrible outcome.
Yes, exactly.
It's talking about choosing the Holy Spirit as my advisor is how I do it together.
Exactly. So it's not my plan alone, it's God, what's your plan for my happiness? Since you're the one who created me happy already. So that's the practice. The practice is in letting go of your plans for happiness, which have all obviously failed. Because here you are not happy still. Okay? Here you are still upset. And so, and then it's in the holy instant that you recognize that you alone cannot know where your happiness is or what it is. That's a holy instant. When you go, I don't know what makes me happy, obviously. Obviously, I don't know what makes me happy or I'd be happy right now. That's the holy instant. And the moment you recognize, I don't know where it is, I don't know what it is, obviously, in that moment, you now are able to accept God's plan for your happiness that cannot fail. So that's all that's required to accept God's plan for your happiness. Is where you say, mine didn't work, I don't know what it is or where it is, but God, you do, so I want yours. That's how you accept God's plan. And then something happens that is completely fulfilling, completely beautiful, and it was nothing you thought of. That's how it goes. All right. Beautiful. And so then, let me see if I want to skip here. All right. Okay. So then the voice of the Course says in paragraph 5, I stand in the holy instant as clear as you would have me be. Oh, so somebody's here right now? There's somebody who's here right now in the holy instant. So when you access and choose the holy instant, you ain't going to be alone. You're not going to be there by yourself. There's going to be your teacher there, right there, like, hi. Really, when you enter the holy instant, your teacher's going to be like, hey, welcome back to now. How's it going? So when you access the holy instant, you will not be alone. You're going to be there with a mighty, mighty, mighty friend. And our friend is standing there going, I'm right here, as clear as you would have me be. Wow. And the extent to which you learn to accept me, says our teacher, is the measure of the time in which the holy instant will be yours. Then our teacher says, I call to you to make the holy instant yours at once. That's what our teacher's saying. How about now? How about now? How about now? Why? Because the release from littleness in the mind of the host of God, that's us, depends on willingness and not on time. So release from littleness in us, release from littleness in our mind depends on willingness, not on time. So tell yourself that. My happiness in this situation, my release from pain in this situation, my release from pain does not wait on time. It's waiting on my willingness. Wow, that's deep. You know, my release from this pain is not waiting on time. I don't have to wait to get released from this pain. I don't have to wait. All my release from pain is waiting on is my willingness, my desire for it. For what? For God's plan for how I can be free from pain or upset right now. All right. Okay, how are you guys doing? Is this, how's it feel to hear these ideas?
Helpful.
How's it feel to hear that you could experience bliss right now if you wanted it, if you wanted to? It'd feel great if I believed it.
Just this week I was in a situation and I was releasing it, I could help me see this correctly, and I did for an instant, and then I could see myself just, no, I want to take back my stuff. It was just right there in front of me.
You saw it. Mm-hmm.
And I just, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that now from after hearing what the Course is saying today?
Well, it's the same dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
How much my ego's like, no.
Yeah, no, I want my plan. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why it calls it a practice. Because it's difficult at first. Because our minds are so conditioned to think that we know what will make us happy. And we're so conditioned that happiness is something that we know how to get, we know what it is, and we know how to go get it and go find it. We believe we know all that. I know what makes me happy. I know where to go and who to go and where to get, and they're so conditioned, even though it's so obvious that we don't know, or else we'd all be blissed out. It's so deep, so that's why it's called a practice, meaning you got to do it a lot. You got to do it a lot. You got to do it a lot, especially at the beginning.
Well, and picking up on Carol's point, part of that practice is just what you did is recognizing in that moment you had a choice, and you
And
chose
the one I made, yeah.
Yeah, but just being aware of it is the first step in practicing. Just being aware that that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're not asked to be masters of it.
Yeah, it was amazing to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, by golly.
And the fact that you saw it, you were aware, is a miracle. Most of the times that happens, we're unconscious about it. We don't notice. So, good job. Yeah.
So it's like a dialogue. I've been doing the Course a while now, and the dialogue with myself and my higher self is more prevalent, and I recognize those choices, like Carol is saying, in the moment. And then I hear the words, delay in time is tragic. Well, and I recognize that it's really my delay, and it's happening right now. It's only tragic in the long run for me. It's not tragic to the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is ever present.
Exactly.
And ever waiting there. So it becomes, the pressure's more on me to make that decision. Am I going to delay myself?
Exactly. And thank you for bringing that up, where it says that delay is unnecessary, but delay in time is tragic. You know, we have everything forever, you know, but delay in time is tragic to us, you know, because delay is not necessary.
Yeah, so perfect.
Because delay is not why? Because God's already given you everything forever. He created it as part of you. That's why no delay is necessary in you experiencing what God wants for you, what God's already given you completely forever. You know, and then it also somewhere in the book says that once you know this, or once you have heard it, delay will now hurt you more than before. So once you've heard, oh, I can have it all now, I could have God's plan for happiness and kind of feel right now. Once you even hear that, now when you're delaying asking for God's plan for your happiness, it will hurt more than it did before. Because now you know it is a delay. Whereas before you didn't know that you were just delaying the inevitable. The happiness that you can have now.
So I know I was in the bathroom and I was hearing somebody had asked, so how do you ask? How do you know?
Yes.
So the whole thing, I guess, for me is, yeah, I love this. This is so great. I have a practice now that I can go to, and I can do that, and I can say, okay, God, what is your plan for me? You know, I wake up in the morning and I say, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What was it? What would you have me say, and to whom? Kind of a thing. And I'm like, okay, am I hearing it correctly? And then I start to question, is this my plan?
Right.
Is this God's plan? I do have a 10 o'clock appointment, so, you know, kind of like, you know,
like I would accept God's plan, but I have a 10 o'clock appointment.
You know, like, so like what? So I guess there's like that,
Yes.
that holy, that voice that I have to listen to, that I sometimes don't know if it's real or if that's. I guess there's that fine line for people. I've been doing this 8 years or so. And so I think I'm still new to the course, but gosh, I don't know sometimes if I'm listening to my holy higher self or what.
Over time, because this is a practice, over time you learn, as you're practicing it, practice, over time, from the results you get, you'll be able to tell, you know, which was God's plan and which was yours.
Because I don't feel good.
Exactly. Over time you'll be like, yeah, I see. When I was doing my plan, it was like this, and then I got this result. And when I said that prayer, you know, I just want your plan for my happiness, and I don't know what that is. And then I noticed that shortly after that, something amazingly wonderful happened that I wouldn't have thought of. So over time, you come to learn how to discern. You know, you have a great question. Beautiful. All right. So, guys, I think I'm going to stop here. Is that all right?
Yes.
Is that okay?
We have
Another.
Darlene had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I did not see your hand. Sorry, I got this bright light in my face.
It's way up there.
Oh, okay. I thought you were exclaiming for
It was
joy.
a half race.
It's kind of like a true confession.
Thank you, Greg, for
that
this.
I have mentioned before, but several years ago, I'd already been doing the course for 20, 30 years, and I was really upset about something, and I could see it that the ego's got me, and I've got a grievance, and I am gonna hold on to it
We'll
because
cherish
I
it.
like this, and it feels good, and it feels like good wouldn't be the operative word.
It feels
but
it feels righteous. It feels righteous.
I'm in it, and I'm gonna stay in it, and it's blocking my miracles, but I'll let it go tomorrow. So I'm gonna
Give it 24 hours. Because I have people coming over tomorrow.
because I don't want to do this forever.
Right.
But I made like a conscious choice Okay, ego, I'm right there with you, and then I'm gonna let it go. And it was quite an amazing experience. It was like a lot of energy going on, and then the next day when I let it go, I wouldn't recommend this, but the next day when I let it go, it was just like like such a load, such a burden, such a, you know, and I've never like gone deep into it. I still get off track a lot often, but that awareness is huge.
And say the awareness, like say the awareness in one
Like
sense.
this is the ego. The ego's got me, or
Gotcha.
I can choose the ego, I can choose spirit. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with the ego, but not.
Right. I see. And I like what you said, if I remember if I'm hearing you correctly, that you were like, I am gonna work the crap out of this grievance, and then tomorrow I'm gonna let it go. Did I hear that right?
Sort of, kind of.
And you did. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great, you know, as far as plans go, it's, you know, it's
But I coulda-
it's probably better than most.
Yeah, I could have, would have,
Yeah.
maybe should have had that in
Exactly.
that moment. Like, why
Right.
do that?
Exactly. And so it's like, I know that I know this grievance isn't going to make me happy, but I really want to gnaw on it today, and then I'm gonna give it to Holy Spirit tomorrow, and then do it. You know, Spirit doesn't care when.
The difference, I think, in God's plan and our plan, God's plan requires no tinkering with it. I don't need nothing to change. I don't need to try to change anything. Our plan comes in when I'm trying to change the story, the circumstances, the people, the outcome. That's my plan when I try to change stuff. Anna and I were talking last night about this wild subject about a lot of younger men today seem to be getting upset because, you know, they look at relationships as a gamble, that I might have child support and alimony down the road. And we were talking about this whole thing. And then this story came up in one of my old relationships where I'm walking, my partner at that time was in the hospital getting a hysterectomy. And the surgeon literally, as we're walking down the hall, and I'm saying, how did this happen? Blah, blah, blah. And she takes me into the stairwell and says, listen,
PG.
yeah, I don't have time to talk to you about this, but in my career, I've never seen a disease like this that wasn't from sexual transmission. And I was like, and so I want to change things, you know, I'm upset now. And as Anna and I were talking about this, she said, that woman, you know, she definitely wanted to have your kid. She made that clear, and now she can't have your kid. And that saves you from child support, that saves you from down the road, you know. But we don't see the big picture of what's going on. We just see the little grievance that we feel is happening right now. But we want to change things.
And if you had changed all that,
But we
then
don't realize God's already changing everything. He's already what needs to be changed.
and we were saying if you had tried to change that, you'd probably still be in that relationship.
Exactly.
You know, so I like what you're saying, that our plan for happiness is something where we're trying, no, I'm going to now change something. I don't like the way this is right now. I don't like the way, and I don't like that you did that. I don't like that you did that, and I'm going to try to change that, you know, for my happiness, not realizing that that was happening, you know, as a, you know, in your best interest. So that's one thing that is very helpful in realizing your plan. You are making a plan to change something. You're going to try to get someone or something to change, instead of you practicing being in the moment and asking for and accepting God's plan for your happiness.
Which calls for a lot of trust.
And calls for trust, exactly. That's where the practice of trust and faith comes in. That's where it should really be applied. is entrusting that our Creator is love, has only love, is giving us only love, has given us only love, which means happiness, which means we can have it right now, just because, and just for the asking, and not asking like because of some conditions, but because happiness and love doesn't force itself upon you. God doesn't force God's plan for your happiness on you. That's why you have to say, I want your plan for my happiness in place of mine right now. Okay? All right. Okay. Anything else that anybody wants to share or ask before we go to the integration
I just want
meditation?
to say one other thing. Like A Course in Miracles, one of the main things for me is like in my little plan, my little mind here. I don't know what anything is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what anything is. I don't know what anything is for, and I can't try to figure it out.
That's
I
right.
know that God knows, and God's got this.
Yes, exactly. That's the practice. That's the practice. And another way to know whether it's God's plan or your plan. Remember, God's plan is present moment oriented. It's something you can accept now. Your plan requires time. Right? Well, when I do this and when I get that and when this happens. So if your plan for happiness has anything to do with time, that something needs to happen, you have to wait for in the future, that's your plan. Okay, God's plan is the happiness and fulfillment and release from pain and suffering and joy and abundance that you can accept right now. That's God's plan. How about you accept it right now, as you are now? Okay, beautiful.
That can do your workbook lesson for the day.
And that could be your workbook lesson for the day. Exactly, it is. All right, and yes, thank you, Irene, and hi, Rebecca. Lovely to see you. All right. Oh, the rest of the section is so good, but I don't think our ego can take it. We're running out of time anyway. Thank God. My ego's like, thank God, I'm holding my breath for an hour and a half. I'm hoping that you would pass out, Anna. All right, so let's do our love offering. Did we get a basket? Yep. Thank you for passing that around.
I put it up there.
And I just want to tell you guys, so after class, Greg went and got us some snacks for us in the library. So after class, come and eat some snacks and kibitz. Let's talk. So also, I am restarting my in-person Monday class. Well, I've been doing my Monday in-person. I've been doing my Monday class online for the winter. Monday the 27th, I'll be back to doing my Monday class in person here at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center, 7 p.m. All right.
And is that actually Memorial Day? It is.
It is Memorial Day,
But,
so,
okay.
so, I don't know. So that's Memorial Day, and we'll try to do some remembering on that day, okay? We'll talk about what we really should be remembering on Memorial Day. All right. So that's, and then Greg and I do a Facebook live stream class every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. on my Facebook channel. And that's Transforming Relationships Through A Course in Miracles. All right. So, guys, you did so great. Let's do an integration meditation, shall we? We could use that, right? So I just want you to just close your eyes and breathe. Let it go. Just tune your awareness inward into the present moment now. Tell yourself, the past is over. It can touch me not. It's over. Past is over. It can touch me not. And I want you to tell yourself, remind yourself, and the future hasn't happened yet. So the only time that is real and here is this moment now, this holy instant now. So let's practice the holy instant, shall we? As it taught us to in this section. Let's take a moment and for just a moment do a brief inventory of your plans for happiness that you've been working on for however long that didn't make you happy. So relationship plans for happiness, body plans. What has been my plan for my happiness? Let's review. Beautiful. Now ask yourself, how did my plan work out in terms of fulfillment and happiness? Did my plans make me happy? Beautiful. And now the practice entailed us saying, God, I want your plan for my happiness. I'm asking for your plan for my happiness to replace my plan for happiness that did not make me happy. God, what is your plan for my happiness in this situation or relationship? God, I want your plan for my happiness in this situation or relationship. Let's say to God, God, I'm now realizing that happiness and peace come from you alone. I want the peace and the happiness that come from you. I accept the peace and the happiness that you have already given me, that you have already created me as, that you have already placed within me. I accept that. I want the peace and the happiness that comes from you, God. You who are love. You who only want happiness for me. God's will for me is only happiness. Beautiful. All right, you guys, and when you're ready, take a breath and bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body. Wonderful. I so appreciate you guys coming out in this crazy weather. I really do. I know it's crazy weather today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Anna.
And thank you guys watching on Facebook or YouTube. If you'd like to support this ministry, you can like, share, and subscribe, or you can share it on your social media.
Have a bit of
Appreciate it.
card.
Thank you.
Because he's like, he's been limping.